بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, we are with Macmillan Flying High 5. Macmillan Flying High 5. This is Macmillan Flying High 5. We are on page 57. Please open your box on page 57. 57, the title is, the lesson is about developing writing. In the previous lesson, we talked about developing speaking. Now we are going to focus on developing writing. These are most important skills. هذه من المهارات المهمة، التحدث والكتابة. الآن developing writing. Now let's start. On page 57, all of you on page 7 or 57. We are going to read first this story and answer these questions. Answer these questions and know how to answer these questions and write the answers. First of all, developing writing a story. Developing writing a story. How to write a story. Read the story about a bad day and answer the questions. Read the story. اقرأ القصة. These are the questions about the story. We will read the story. When did the story happen? When did the story happen? The title of the story is A Bad Day. A Bad Day. So the title, عنوان القصة, A Bad Day. When did the story happen? When did the story happen? Who are the characters in the story? Who are the characters? Number 3, why was the day so bad for the person telling the story? Why was the day so bad for the person telling the story? نحاول نجاوب على هذه الأسئلة من خلال القطعة السابقة. Okay. Try to read. First of all, what is the title? What's the title? Title, My Bad Day. My Bad Day. This is the title. What can you see? What can you see? This way helping you to speak. What can you see? A picture, people playing skiing, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 5 paragraphs. About 5 paragraphs. What is the title? My Bad Day. The title is My Bad Day. How many paragraphs? Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. About 4 or 5 paragraphs. Paragraph number 1. Remember the questions. Remember the question. تذكر الأسئلة التي قرأناها كي تبحث عن إجابتها في القطعة. Remember the questions. I will read. If I'd know it was going to be such a bad day. شوف التعبير في هذه الجملة. If I'd know it was going to be such a bad day, I probably would have stayed in bed. لو عرفت أنه بيحصل ذلك اليوم السيء لبقيت في البيت. It was the last day of the summer holiday. It was the last day of summer holiday. My friends and I had decided to spend our last day of freedom at a new indoor skiing. Ski. This sport called skiing. Okay, to spend our last day of freedom at a new indoor ski slope before school starting again. Slope منحدر. My friends were both really good at skiing because they are good. His friend or her friends are good at skiing because they used to go to the mountains when they are all small. When they are young, they used to go to mountains and practice skiing. I'd only been once or twice. I only practiced that sport once or twice. I wasn't very good, but I really enjoyed it. I'm not good at this sport, but I really enjoyed it. When we arrived at the indoor ski slope, عندما وصلنا, the sun was shining. So it was strange to go inside with all the snow and ice. First, we went to hire boots and skis, and then we got changed. We hire استأجرنا. When we were all ready, we went onto the snow. When we were ready, we went in. دخلنا. After an hour, I was really enjoying myself. After an hour, I was really enjoying myself. كنت مستمتع. I hadn't fallen once. I hadn't fallen. لم أسقط once. ولا مرة. And I was starting to ski quite well. I was skiing well. كنت ألعب هذه الرياضة بشكل جيد. Skiing quite well. That was when it all went wrong. I was skiing down to the slope fast. هناك حدث شيء خطأ. I was skiing fast. I was skiing down the slope المنحدر fast. When suddenly a man came out. Suddenly فجأة a man came. Suddenly a man came out of now here just in front of me. Man ظهر أمامي. In front of me. I couldn't change direction. I couldn't change direction. I couldn't change direction. لم أستطع تغيير اتجاهي. And I hit him. I crushed him. I hit him and went flying through the air. I went flying through the air. When I came back down, my knee, ركبة, K silent, knee, smacked into the ice. I know straight way that I must have done something serious. At that time, I know that I made something serious. أنا سويت شيء حرج. They carried me down and told me to go to the hospital. They carried me down and go to the hospital. Later, when we arrived at my local hospital, all the nurses التمريض were laughing at me. They were laughing, smiling, laughing at me. They couldn't understand how anybody could have had a skiing accident in the summer. I wasn't laughing when finally they told me that I needed an operation. The doctor told me or told him he needs operation. عملية جراحية on my knee. Operation on my knee. عملية في الركبة. I wish I had just stayed in bed. I wish I just stayed in bed. تمنيت. I wish I had just stayed in bed. تمنيت لو بقيت في المنزل. Okay? Continue. That are the questions. Question number 1. When did the story happen? What do you think? When did the story happen? Number 2. Who are the characters in the story? Who are the characters? Number 3. Why was the day so bad for the person telling the story? Why was the day bad? Okay. Question number 1. When did the story happen? The story happened on the last day of the summer holiday. On the last day of the summer holiday. آخر يوم من إجازة الصيف. Number 2. Who are the characters? من هم الشخصيات? Characters in the story. I think the writer and his friends or her friend. We don't know. ما ندري من الكاتب. The characters are the writer and his or her friends. الكاتب وأصدقائه. Writer and his or her friends. Number 3. Why was the day so bad? For the person? Why was the day so bad? Because the writer, the person who tells the story, hit another person. اصطدم بشخص آخر while skiing. He or she went to the hospital and the doctor told him or her that he or she needs an operation, okay, on his knee or her knee. Okay, that's about the questions about the story. Complete. Read the story again. We have read the story. Underline any words or expressions which help you. Underline, ضع خط under the expressions or words which help you to understand when or in what order the events in the story happened. Okay. نضع خط تحت العبارات أو الكلمات التي تعطينا إيضاح للأحداث، ترتيب للأحداث في القصة. Let's see. There are many words and expressions that help to understand the order. هناك الكثير من المفردات والتعابير التي أعطتنا تسلسل الأحداث في القصة. منها It was the last day. It was the last day. When we arrived. When we arrived, okay. First, then, after an hour, later, finally. These words or expressions tell us the order of the events. The order of the events. تسلسل الأحداث في القصة. So, if you want to write a story, try to use these words. Try to use these words. إذا أردت كتابة قصة, use these words. It was the last day. It was the first day. When we arrived, when we go, when we do something. First. أولا. Second. After that. When. After an hour. After a second. After a moment. Later. Finally. So these expressions help you to talk about or to write about a story. هذه التعابير والمفردات تساعدك في كتابة القصة. Again, it was the last day when we arrived. First, then, or second, or after that, after an hour, after a moment, after a month, after a year, later, finally. Okay, that's about the expressions. Look at the writing bank. Also, we have writing bank. Match the tense and verbs from 1 to 5 with their uses in a story from A to E. We have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we have letters A, B, C, D, and E. Past tense. In what event did we use past tense? في أي حدث استخدمنا الباست tense في القصة. لو رجعنا للقصة استخدمنا الباست tense في أي حدث. D. We use past tense with D when we use it to tell the main events and actions in a story. We use the past tense in the story. We use it to tell the main events and actions in a story. Next, past perfect. Past perfect. أيضا في القصة استخدمنا past perfect. With E, we use it to describe scenes, to say what activities was in progress when another interrupted it. Past perfect حدث من الأحداث استمر والشيء قطعه، مثل التزلق ثم اصطدام بشخص. هذه حدثين. We use it to describe scenes, to say what activity was in progress when another interrupted it. Next, must, may, might, can't, have. متى استخدمنا هذه المفردات? When did we use that words? Or sorry, Past continuous with be. We use it to talk about past habits. Past continuous, we use it to talk about past habits. أحداث سابقة. Past continuous. Okay, let's continue. Past perfect, as I said, number 3. we use it to describe scenes. Number 4, use to. Use to اعتاد على. Use to. With C, we use these to make speculation or deductions. التخيل التوقعات أو الحسم about what happened. Use to. Must, may, might, can't, have. With A, we use it for the background of a story. For a background of a story to talk. Okay? Now, practice makes perfect. Look at the task. Then write your story. Now it's your turn. هذا دورك الآن. Write your story. Use narrative tenses carefully and include words and expressions that explain when or in what order events happened. Try to write a story. Write a story. Use narrative tenses. استخدم الأزمنة التي ذكرناها في الشريحة السابقة and include words and expressions. وضمنها words and expressions. بعض المفردات والتعابير that explain the order. That explain the order. Write a story. Now, write a story which begins. If I'd know it was going to be such a bad day, I probably would have stayed in bed. Okay, try to start your story by this sentence or this sentence. حاول تبدأ قصتك بهذه العبارة. If I'd know it was going to be such a bad day, I probably would have stayed in bed. اكتب قصة وتكون بدايتها بهذه العبارة. If I'd know or known it was going to be such a bad day, I probably would have stayed in bed. To write a story. لكتابة قصة. As we read before, كي تكتب قصة, there is something called paragraphs functions. Paragraphs functions. لكي تكتب القصة مثل ما ذكرنا في الشريحة السابقة وتستخدم أحداث معينة، هناك ما يسمى بالباراجرافز functions. لكل باراجراف أهمية معينة. one paragraph or more. الباراجراف الأول أو الباراجراف الأول والثاني والثالث دعها تتكلم عن شيء محدد وهو عن introduce the story. Paragraph 1 introduction or introduce the story, characters, relationships and places. This is in paragraph 1 and 2 or only one paragraph. في الباراجراف الأول يكون مقدمة وتعريف الشخصيات في القصة وعلاقتهم ببعض ومكان وقوع القصة. That is in paragraph number 1. Paragraph number 2 or next paragraph describe the main events in the story. Talk about the story. Talk about the events. في الباراجراف الثاني تحدث عن قصتك. في الباراجراف الأول مقدمة للقصة عن الأحداث، عن الشخصيات، عن المكان التي حدثت فيه القصة. The next paragraph describe the main events of the story. Talk about the story. تحدث عن القصة. Last paragraph describe the outcome of the story. Describe the outcome. نتيجة القصة. ماذا حدث في القصة؟ مثل ما قرأنا أنه اصطدم بشخص وذهب إلى المستشفى والطبيب أجرى له عملية. إذن هنا في الباراجراف الأخير describe the outcome. Describe the outcome of the story. إذن نلخص ما ذكرنا في هذا الشريحة أن first paragraph introduction. Second paragraph description of the story itself. Last paragraph the outcome. نتيجة القصة أو نهاية القصة. Okay, that's about writing or how to write a story. I hope you get benefit from the slides before. I hope you get benefit. What I want to ما أريده منك أن تعود إلى الشرائح السابقة لترى كيف نستطيع كتابة قصة معينة باستخدام مفردات معينة في الوورد بانك اللي ذكرناه. Thank you for paying attention. I hope you get benefit and see you in another presentation. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.